back to No Guestlist. We're on with episode 2. I'm Wes. I got my co-hosts Anthony, James, and Manu. This is a podcast where we talk about Afro House, Afro Tech, three-step, and everything around it. How you boys doing?
Wonderful.
Manu.
Wonderful. How you guys doing?
Good, man.
Life's good.
Virtual
handshakes. Virtual handshakes. Life's good. Life is very good. Me and Manu were out last weekend, so I'm still recovering a little bit, but yeah, it was.
Don't tell him too much,
vibe,
man. Don't tell him too much.
I'm not telling too much. It's secrets, man. Patreon content's there.
Hey, but we gotta know. What you guys get up to.
Well, first of all, I was late for dinner. I was half an hour late for dinner, fashionably late. We met up at Shoreditch House, had a nice meal, and then headed to the Sondela event at Night Tales, which, yeah, special, man. It was very, very, very good. The last one that I went to was at Night Tales Loft. You were there, right, Manny?
Yeah, that's where I feel like that's where I met you, but no. Because I met you before that.
Yeah.
Or after that.
But we were at Night Tales Loft is like Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. And it was like, I mean, do you know what? It was actually kind of like a nice full circle thing because the Night Tales Loft one was the first time that I heard Kitty Amore drop the Atmos Blaq Gypsy Woman remix and then saw Atmos drop it at Night Tales. Oh, it was incredible, man. And the fact that they changed venues as well, very, very, very good move, man. Like Night Tales Loft is just a small place. It is what it is. It says it's a loft. Night Tales, that's a whole venue, man. Like 3 rooms, I think. Yeah, real nice place. Real nice place.
So for those of us who don't know, who was on the lineup?
Thakzin, Djeff, Atmos, of course, and then who's in the other rooms? I didn't actually catch anyone in any of the other rooms, but I'm pretty sure.
Artist level, Dylan Desai opened up, kind of set the scene nicely on the terrace. But
that's right. And then obviously Louis and Clay were opening up the main area as well, right?
Open up main room, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Louis and Clyde or B2B. Shout out to those 2 guys.
Wait, did they do a B2B? Because we missed their set. Like I walked into the venue and Clay was walking out, and I was like, "Oh, I missed your set, bro."
Sorry, mate.
Sorry, mate. No, for real, man. I've wanted to see this guy because he did a guest mix for me, and I was like, "This dude knows how to mix. Like he's a wizard behind the decks."
He does.
I've been waiting to see him.
I spent a little bit of time with him when I was in London at Rinse FM. He was dropping a lot of unreleased Sondela, which is now out. Shout out to Clado, man. That guy's got it. But how was the night overall? What'd you guys think? Like who was the best performer? Would you say?
I mean, I've got to give it to Djeff. For me, I feel like for that crowd, for that venue, it has to be that type of sound. Like.
Yeah,
I think everyone was good overall. Atmos, AJ touched on the Gypsy Woman remix that he dropped. That was a moment in the night for sure. People loved it. Thakzin with that 3-step kind of more sexy, vibier, groovier sound was nice. But I think Djeff was.
Do you know? I don't know. I don't want to position anybody in sort of like a hierarchy of experience, but I feel like when Jeff's set showed that he had a lot of experience of playing UK based sets, like he knew what to go with, you know what I mean? And it rolled as well. Jeff's sets rolled, man. Like I was gutted. I had to leave 15 minutes before the end, but I say had to avoid the cloakroom queues, so I left a little bit early, but Jeff's set was like, it was an experienced set, man. Yeah. Did you stay till the end, man?
Yeah, dude. But again, goes to show I've seen Djeff 3 times now. Every single time when he plays in London, he knows what to play. He knows the crowd. Of course, he's a great DJ. He's got the technicality. He's got all of that. He's got the skills. But I think for that venue, they got it right, man. They got it right for the timing with Djeff, the lineup. And shout out to Djeff, man. Shout out to Djeff.
Yeah, shout out. I've got to say, I think I actually think Atmos was probably my favorite, you know, just because I've spoken to him quite a lot. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Djeff regardless, but I've spoken to Atmos quite a lot, and I feel like I saw Kid Funk in the crowd, which I thought was cool as well, like fully in the thick of it, you know. And I could, from my perspective, it looked like there were a lot of proud faces in there in terms of what Atmos did, because he smashed his set, man. Like, yeah, he really, really killed it, I think. And he was playing a lot of the free step stuff, man. Like, you know what went down so well? And I caught two people right next to me trying to Shazam this track. His remix of Ezzy's Wenny that just dropped on Sondela as well, that went down. Like, people really enjoyed that, man. And then he went into
some tracks, man.
Then he went into Ariane. Then he went into E-Plan. Like, oh, Manu, hold on. I need to ask you this. Am I going crazy, or did they drop a remix of Thakzin E-Plan? It wasn't the original.
They dropped, I think it was, but they had something else. And then Atmos turned to me and he goes, "This is our upcoming collab with him and Thakzin." And I was like, wow. And it sounded crazy. It was a crazy track. I never heard it. I was like, bro, you know what to do. Like, send it. Like, I need that. Right now. But yeah, they had a track in a collab that's coming soon. Yeah, mad. But I think E-Plan was the original, I believe, bro.
Yeah.
I think the lineup was so beautifully curated. I mean, obviously, Thakzin more on the 3-step side, Atmos more into the house, but also still leaning into the 3-step, kind of bridging into Jeff's set. I think the execution from the Sondela guys is on point, seriously, from like a sound perspective. And you know what? I was talking to Dylan. Dylan was saying that I asked him the same question. I said, who was your favorite set of the night? And he said Atmos, just because he was so surprised at what a DJ he is. I mean, he's obviously a great producer, but he didn't know like he has the juice like that, you know?
He's got vibes. Like, behind the decks, Atmos is in the moment, and it's infectious. Like, he's got this nice energy, nice vibe. You definitely have some type of chemistry with him as he's performing. Obviously, I think he's got a type of person, right?
Yeah, he's got major like likability factor. Like, we've spoken before, we've voice noted, DM'd and stuff, but to meet him in the flesh, and not to fanboy or anything, but like, the dude's a really good dude. Like, you can tell that he's in this for music. He loves the music. He loves the sound. He loves DJing. He loves making music. And that's what I think is, it's not all just about showboating all the time. Do you know what I mean? It's about being a genuinely cool person, going, enjoying your set, and people in the crowd and in the audience will automatically pick up on that sort of aura from you as well. So shout out to Atmos, man. Yeah, he killed it.
And he's so young. Right? How old is he? 24?
Someone was saying he's like 23, yeah.
But I was going to ask, you've seen Atmos and Thakzin or Djeff play, right? Have you seen any of them?
Not Atmos and Thakzin yet, but I've seen Djeff play 3 different times in Toronto. And what was fascinating about the guy, the first time I saw him was at this festival here where Floyd Levine opened for him. So it really gave him that stage to, you know, I think show his true colors, I would say, like that proper Afro House, Afro Tech, Angolan swag, all of that. The next time I saw him, Harry Romero opened before him, and he got on the decks and the BPM was like already over 130. So he really struggled. So he had to bring it, like, he had to keep that energy in the audience. And he told me like he didn't really enjoy it that much. And then the last time was at a Afro House kind of focus venue here called Soluna, and was still Afro House, but I guess a little more on the commercial side because that's the crowd that mostly like exists over here, right?
Yeah.
But I was
Speaking of that,
I was actually watching. Yeah,
so I was just going to say, you know, you said that's the crowd that exists over there. One thing that really stuck out to me about Sondela was how good the crowd was. Like, it was a crowd that was very receptive to Afro House, Afro Tech. You know, like there wasn't like, it wasn't full of commercial or like I don't shoot the messenger, like what I'd call westernized Afro House or European Afro House. It wasn't
Yeah.
that kind of sound. It was like a real Afro House, Afro tech sound, and a crowd that really enjoyed it, and also a very diverse crowd as well. You know, so it was a
Yeah, I think
mixture
that's
of
about the
people who
lineup,
were.
though.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
I think that's about the lineup. Yeah, because again, when you're the promoter, you have to be a promoter and know how that lineup is going to translate to a certain crowd and how that's going to work. But you're not going to put specific acts together because that might not work. So, and also I think London has that distinct audience, right? You've got the more Afrotech, Afro House, and you've got the completely commercial edits crowd. They can party together, but they are quite different, I think.
I don't know if they can all the time. I mean,
Not all the time, for sure. Not all the time.
Depends on the track, but I've seen the type of Afro House edit type crowd come for like a Cairo set, and Cairo's very Afro tech, and they get a bit lost at moments.
I think it has to be a big name. If it's Black Coffee
Big
or
name. Yeah,
not even Shimza, but I feel like if it's Black Coffee or
Even Napa,
could
Cairo.
do it.
Yeah.
Cairo.
Yeah.
I don't think Shimza. I mean, Shimza obviously could, but I don't think. But
It's a funny thing that we're discussing though, because we're talking about how real Afro House, Afro tech artists are received at an Afro House or an Afro tech event where people expect edits.
I know,
Right.
but
How are we even having this conversation? Like, that's wild to me. But no, I thought it was a sick event, man. Thakzin has got fans. Like, I was speaking to Sam, his agent, and he was basically saying that when Thakzin walked in, like, there's girls screaming, like, "We love you." You know what I mean? So that, I think he's built a fan base.
That guy's
like
swaggy though. He's got some swag though. He's got some swag.
He's a swaggy dude, man.
He's walking in with his hat. He's just like chill, doing his thing. I was like, all right, player, do your thing, boy. He's got some swag.
No, they're all super cool, man. And I think, like I said, I think that reflected into the audience. Everyone picked up a good vibe there. Honestly, I'm going to go as far as saying last year Sondela was one of my favorite events, and I think I'm going to say this year's one. It's early in the year, but we've got Shimza this weekend. Sondela's flying the flag right now. Good events, good vibes.
Whole London tour this weekend. Like, there's so much happening this weekend. But yeah, let's see.
Hey man, you guys are lucky. It's also like nice to see that even in the cold of the winter up here, that in London they're still making a big effort, because over on my side of the world things have gone so quiet. There's like nothing happening except actually nothing. Yeah. Nothing.
Hey man, fly over. Send us the bill.
Yeah, it's not too late to get a flight, man. Expensive.
So which of this weekend's events are you guys gonna make it to?
I'm just heading to Shimza.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do
Manu, I can already see you at all of them, bro.
Yeah, I have to, man. I just gotta do all of them, man. You gotta brush shoulders, handshake, a few hugs, say what's up, man. Yeah, send me that track. Don't forget. And then next stop, do a whole.
He's on job. But to be fair, I would like to go through to Inu and Cairo. It's just far, man, because you're going from where are they? Village Underground, right?
No, Stoke Newington.
Stoke Newington. So you're going from Stoke Newington all the way to King's Cross for Coco. Or Camden, like it's a long way, man.
For the love of house.
For the love of house, for the love of the culture. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be there. I got stage tickets for Shimza. So, Manu, I don't know. I thought we were going to Shimza together. So it looks like I'm going to be riding solo.
What time are you going there?
I don't know, man. I'm just going to see. I'm going to grab some food before and then head up there. Get some videos, get some footage.
Chat offline.
We'll chat offline. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I'm just thinking about the weight of all those USBs for everyone who's going to be in London this weekend, between Cairo, Enu, and Shimza, all waiting on music from them. It's just like unbelievable,
Yeah, for real.
I mean, I know Shimza's going to be testing his album a lot.
Yeah.
Cairo, I know obviously he always has some unreleased. Cairo this year,
Cairo's got
I need to
unreleased.
ask him.
He's
He
got
does.
unreleased.
He has.
Yeah.
He's got unreleased.
But we'll get to that later, right?
We'll get to that
We'll
later.
see. Yeah.
In the meantime, guys, there's a topic that I want to talk about. Something that's been making waves all over social media. Some in support, some in against, and that's all about the commercial edit kind of movement that's going on in our scene right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a big one. It's a big one. I think we can collectively say that at No Guestlist, we're purists. If anyone cares to disagree, feel free. But I think it's a huge problem. I'm upset.
I don't know,
more,
but
mate.
I'm in the purist section as well.
Yeah, Wesley,
Man,
tell us more. Why is it a huge problem? Why huge? What is it?
I think
What is it
because things are evolving too quickly, in the sense that you have this whole new sound, that's new in the Western sense and abroad and all of that, where opportunity is only just being created for, the people that kind of pioneered the origins of the sound, back home, in South Africa, Kenya, Angola, all those kind of places. And then by bringing in these commercial kind of vocals and samples into tracks, I just think is lazy. It's like, it's not a pure music kind of move for me.
But let's talk about when this became a problem, right? Because I think when the more established artists were doing it as a way to pay tribute to the classics or maybe a commercial edit. So, for example, like when Temba did World Hold On remix, no one said anything, and I love that remix, right? So I think there's different cases and different situations where people, kind of point and say that's a problem. I think it depends on who it is, man.
I'm not sure it depends on who it is, I'm not sure it's that. I think, personally, I've got no issue with... Sorry, bro, go on.
I was just going to say, I think it's... If you haven't paid your dues and put in the work and got the respect from the scene, and you make... And also, I think a lot of these people that do the edits now, right? They don't know the history of Afro House. If you tell them who's, name 3 Kulo tracks, they've got no clue. So I think that's what the issue is, right? It's like, know the sound that you're representing and trying to be part of before branding it as Afro House and trying to make money off it and cultural appropriate, and what do you call it? Culturally appropriate. Appropriation, that's the one. You know what I mean? So I think that's what it is. I think that's where I stand, and that's where I kind of see the issue.
This is what I think, right? Like, I've got no issue with people creating edits. At the end of the day, music is music, and this is my wider view on it. There's a space for it. There's no doubt about that. For me, it becomes an issue when you're releasing edits as essentially original tracks, if that makes sense, i.e. using a commercial vocal, releasing that edit, and then it goes into the charts, and these so-called charts or algorithms on Spotify get clogged up with commercial edits, and it takes space away from artists who are creating original Afro tracks. I don't really care where they come from. I mean, look, obviously we're talking about African electronic music, so the scope is on Africa in terms of uprising talent and stuff, upcoming talent. Yeah. But I just feel like I agree with Wes. It's a little bit lazy to make a new track with a commercial vocal. For me, the vocal side of it is unforgivable when it has nothing to do with house music. Like, I'm seeing people doing Afro House edits of Harry Styles. How dare you? How dare you, man?
Exactly.
I don't want to hear Harry Styles, bro. Like Pussycat Dolls, and I'm going to say it as well. Do you know what? Commercial and controversial, but Spice Girls? Come on, man. So I don't know. You decide where you want to draw the line. Privacy SA just did a remix of Touch the Sky. You touch the sky. You know that song, the Dennis Ferrer track?
Yeah.
Beautiful remix, man. That's a remix, an edit that pays homage to a classic house track. When you're paying homage to classic house in a house event, that's something everybody cheers for. Atmos, Gypsy Woman, classic house track. And I think even just recently, Kitty Amore and Da Capo, classic house track, Hey Hey remix. Please tell me where Khalees Milkshake comes into this conversation, because I don't remember that being a classic house track. That's my opinion. I've got nothing against the sound. I think it's great, but it's not Afro House in the way that I see it. I think it's a Europeanized and westernized version of it, which is cool, but like Manu said, pay homage to where it came from and don't clog up the charts, in my opinion.
I think look, I have no problem with Alex One. He's a great guy. I met him personally, sat down with him, and he is a very talented producer. There's no doubt about that. Milkshake was, I think, for me, one of the biggest and most defining tracks that kind of signaled, other artists and producers to go into this movement. So I didn't have a problem with Milkshake at the time, and I don't as a track, neither with the producer, but I have a problem with the ripple effects of Milkshake.
Same here. Success, and that's how I feel about it as well. When
someone gets success doing something, people are going to want to copy it. I think that just happens with anything in life. And also, we have to realize remixing a track is a proven success formula. People do this, when you start your producing journey, producing career, that's what you do, right? You remix a track because you think that's the fastest way for me to get recognized, and today for kind of music to play it.
Absolutely. Real. Well, you hit the nail on the head for kind of music to play it. But do you know what I think as well? Like, the thing that I find wild about a lot of the commercial tracks and commercial edits is a lot of the time tracks that are actually released, like officially released through a label and go onto the download sites, as opposed to just on streaming sites like SoundCloud, where you can download a hype edit or whatever. A lot of the time those records are revocaled. So I think it was Bush Before Me did Say It Right, Nelly Furtado, and that had to be revocaled. I'll be honest with you, actually, I play that track a lot, but this is testament to the point I'm making. I don't have an issue with the music. It's just it being labeled as Afro House. But if you're going to get someone to revocal a track, why not take, I don't know, what might be an extra couple of weeks or maybe an extra couple of months and sit down and write a whole new track and give that artist who's revocaling their own space to shine in their own right. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we've gone past the stage of the last person who I heard do really incredible original vocals that really blew me away was someone like Bobby Fallon, incredible vocals on One Night and things like that. So I think there's a space for that kind of thing to come back. And I don't know, like I'm here. I understand the value of party edits. This is what I'm calling them from now on. People call them Afro House.
It's for DJs.
Party edits. Yeah, they're valuable, man. I saw Aluku Rebels playing in London, and he was the first person that I heard drop the Milkshake vocal over. I can't remember what the track was. I looked down at the decks and it just said drumapella or something, and he dropped the Khalees vocal over the top. People went wild. There's no doubt that it works. There's nothing wrong with playing it. But if you were to ask me if, and it's not about who's better, who do I prefer to listen to? When Laulu takes me on a journey with an original track that he's made, that blows my mind. And I'll listen to that over and over again, just trying to figure out what was he thinking when he made this work of art. And when someone just does a commercial edit, it's a one-time, one-hit moment for me,
I'm gonna jump in there for a second, because you guys are both DJs, right? So I think when you have a more, what I would call a more basic or party vocal, right? I think there's a time and a place when you're playing live and you use that third or fourth CDJ to bring in that track to give energy to the crowd, not to 100%. Make it part of the
as
track
an acapella. But think about it.
Yeah.
As an acapella, including a track like that as a DJ, it's probably so much more impactful to the crowd. Like, imagine instead of you playing an edit, you know, you show off your skills, you put the acapella in there, and you just go
Yeah.
crazy, and that creates such a moment, and it's so much more rewarding, right? But again, I think it's a new generation. A lot of these guys are young. You know, it's a whole different type of demeanor, behavior that they have. I think to producing, and it's, you know, not to make excuses for them, but they didn't grow up listening to Black Coffee Homebrewed. You know, they didn't grow up
Yeah.
listening to these classic albums. So it's a difficult
Yeah.
conversation to have. And a lot of these guys create great music. Like Alex One Milkshake is a great production. It's so simple, but
Yeah.
it's great. Like it feels good. It's such a nice track. But again, you know, if you want to have a conversation around Afro House, it's difficult.
Bro, I agree with you, Manu. I think Milkshake is an incredible track. You break down the production on that, vocal or no vocal, it's an incredible bit of work that he's done. And I personally think, who was it? Wes, you sent something to the chat earlier. Someone was saying that it might need a new genre. If there was a different way to describe that sound, what I'm calling European Afro melodic, that kind of sound, the kind of music sound, yeah, that's great. Like I'm here for it. I play it in all of my sets. You go into my most played tracks. Look, this is the audience that I play to. The majority of it is going to be that sound. But I think that, like I said, clogging up the Afro House charts, the Afro House algorithms with something that's not Afro House or Afro Tech, I personally don't see. I don't see that as.
I think, guys, that is the conversation, right? It's moving away from people saying we don't like the edits, but rather let's put these edits somewhere else, right? Because we're still going to play them. Everyone's going to play them because we love them, right? But also we have to understand this Afro House crowd now. It's a lot different to what it was 10 years ago. So you got to play different type of music a lot of the times, right?
Yeah.
You can't just be playing the you know, that percussive tribal stuff. Like you got to mix it up and understand. So it's a mixture of things for me, man. It's a mixture of things.
It definitely is, and I wanna go back to kind of music for a second, because it's obviously, you know, some of the biggest artists of the modern day in our scene is kind of music for sure. But I think for me, kind of music are becoming almost a problem, because it's kind of distorting. I said it. They're distorting.
That's hot topics, man.
Hey, I'm not afraid to speak up. And my concern is that they're distorting the global interpretation of what Afro House music is, right? And it's not just through sound that gets released, you know, every week. It's also online, and I see it in other theme pages on social medias. There's all these new Afro House theme pages popping up. Other pages are posting about Afro House, and who are they posting?
They only all use kind of music content. It's crazy. Yeah, sorry.
Kind of music or Black Coffee. That's it. That's all I see. Nobody's posting anyone else, which is a real shame, because that's the
these days. This is what I think. Yeah, kind of music has become super popular. But where I do have to give them credit is that they do not claim to just be Afro House. They play such a variety, man. And for me, they are purveyors of what I would call cutting edge electronic music. They go. You listen to their radio show; it's across the spectrum, and I respect them for that. I don't think they are directly saying, "Look, we play Afro House. This is Afro House when we play it." But there is definitely an audience that, like we mentioned, doesn't understand what Afro House is. They wouldn't know the origins of South African house or Kwaito or anything like that. And that is where I think it is very important to make set the difference and set the tone between what this sound is that we've got now and what original Afro House is, because there's still people making this original sound, and there's a space for both. Yeah. We just call it something different, you know. This is my example. Yeah, you ever listen to Beethoven? Yeah, why is Beethoven
not by choice, but yeah.
Why is Beethoven not heavy metal? Why is it not heavy metal?
Because it's not.
Because it's not. That's the point. It doesn't have electric guitars and pig howling and loads of drums. It's classical music. It's a different type of sound. If anybody here doesn't, or anyone listening can't actually hear that there's a difference between this European Afro melodic sound and Afro House, sit down, try and understand music better, because there is a clear difference between the two sounds. Clear difference.
There is.
So
there is.
Categorization is the key for me, man.
And like going back to kind of music, like you said, they don't claim it. They never have publicly that we are Afro House and this and that. I actually had a conversation briefly with Adam Port once after his show, and he played 2 tracks. He played Imali by Carrion de Soul, and he played Your Voice original from Cairo and
Bro got thumbs up.
I went. Yeah, I don't know why I got a thumbs up, but I got a thumbs up. And I told him, I was like, yo, man, listen, back then I was really small. I had like a few thousand followers. Oh, man, you know, like I run this small page. Like, thank you so much for playing this kind of music and showcasing it. And he looks at my phone and he goes, this is not Afro House. It's like, he's like, this for me is just a melodic house music. He's like, it's good. And I don't think they view themselves that way, even to this day. You know,
no, they don't. But I respect them. I respect them because, you know, you kind of look at what they've built. Their Black Coffee Association. You know, they can make Afro House tracks. Like, don't get it twisted. Of course, they can. Right?
Yeah.
But I think the party is the party, right? The party now is not an Afro House party. I think the party now is just the party. Any music can be played at that stage. So I don't think it's more about their production. I think it's just what they've been up to lately, their party, that whole brand. But also like the latest album, what's the Send Return? That's not Afro House.
Not at all.
Yeah, bro, so much variety. Yeah. And that's why I think that's important, man. It's nice to have that variety and everybody can appreciate music in the places that it is. But I feel for myself, I mean, look at Deep House, for example. If you look at Deep House as a genre, there's so many different types of Deep House. Like, you've got stuff that's more disco-y. You've got stuff that's like deep tech. There's so many different types of it. It's just the way that it is. Maybe Afro House is going to go that way. But what worries me with the edits is, I remember I used to be a big tech house fan about 6 or 7 years ago. And I remember when tech house just started becoming commercial edits. And funnily enough, one of the tracks was Milkshake. Left Wing and Cody did a remix of Milkshake. That was one of the first, like, of that time of commercial edits. But eventually people got bored of a genre because you knew what to expect. It was going to be this type of beat with a commercial vocal over the top, chopped up over the top. And that's fine if anybody wants to go down that route for the Afro House sound. There's still a very solid tech house following in places like Berlin and Amsterdam, where people are what they might call tech house purists. And I think that's going to be the way that it goes with Afro House. Nobody's going to stop making commercial edits. It makes big bucks. So it puts them on stages.
Let me ask you guys a question. As far as a prediction, say, you know, end of 2025, how do you see the landscape? Do you see it getting worse as far as the edits? Do you see it staying the same? Do you see these platforms, you know, streaming platforms, categorize it differently eventually? Like, because I think something has to change, because otherwise
I see it getting worse. You know? I don't know, man. If Beatport reacts quickly in the same way that it did, I remember when organic house and down tempo became a thing, when melodic house and techno became a thing. That's in the past, like 6 or 7 years or so, really. I remember when Amapiano got its own section.
Right.
Yeah, it comes down to the major sites to categorize this stuff, I think. But honestly, I see it getting worse. It's a big money maker. People are playing in VIP clubs, playing commercial edits. I'm laying this prediction now, and maybe I'm going to shoot myself in the foot doing this, but I guarantee you by 2025, we will hear an ABBA Afro House remix, like a gimme, gimme, gimme Afro House remix. And I'm dreading the day.
Have you heard the Toto Africa one?
I've heard
Huh?
that one. I have heard that one.
There's bro, that's
Toto
Guys.
Africa, yeah.
Guys, 1 second. I just got to leave this conversation.
it's already happening.
Yeah.
My guy doesn't know about Toto Africa Afro
What?
House. Man, there's
bro,
many of those.
Come on,
There's a
man.
lot. But I have a concern. I have a concern, right? And I agree with AJ. I think it's going to get worse. Is it going to be categorized? I don't know if it will. But my concern is that it becomes more of a fad than a genre that's here to stay over the long term. Right. Yeah. It's like when back in the day, I don't remember the years, but there was like the whole EDM hip hop collab. Lil Wayne was hopping on EDM tracks, Lil Jon, all that kind of stuff. And that came and went like really quickly. And what concerns me is that it impacts the sustainability of the genre. Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's my issue.
Yeah. I mean, do you know what it is though? For me, there's a clear distinction in the DJs and producers that play and produce this music, the events that they play at, but also, the parties like Sondela, the parties like Cunha, UR. There's a clear distinction to the sound and the people that attend these, these events and places that play these edits. So do you think that, there's two kind of groups that are growing slowly in the background, and I think it might get worse, it might get better, but to be honest,
this is the thing, like you said, there's two groups growing. I think between the three of us, none of us want to sit here and name names because it might seem as if we're taking sides. It's not that at all. You're right, Manu. There are clearly two different demographics that are growing for two different styles of Afro House. There's one that's more commercial and more above ground, and there's one that's more sort of authentic, original sounding and below ground. I think both can have their space as a cutting edge sound. What I don't want to happen to Afro House is for it to become a genre that is just sort of, it makes people think of cheesy music. I personally think Afro House as a genre is a cutting edge sound, like in the same way that deep house or tech house is received in Berlin as this cutting edge sound. It has to remain that way. And I think it's a responsibility of people who are releasing music under the label Afro House to really ask themselves, are they releasing Afro House music or are they just releasing house music with drums? And it's a hard question to ask, but you chuck a certain track into a house music, category, I guarantee you it would still be, if Milkshake was released as a house track, it would still be top of the house music charts. It did so well.
Yeah.
It did so well. So,
and I said the other day, is like, I even posted it on Threads. I said there's some artists, and it might not be their fault directly, but it's almost comparing Hollywood's interpretation to Africa as like some of the house music that's being released right now. And I think
absolutely,
for me, it's a problem because there's so much history and so much depth of sound and, people to collaborate with and work with and network. It's like, why would you do that? For me, I just
bottom line,
see a point.
Yeah. Bottom line, the artists that get the most respect are the ones that
get played my kind of music.
But for me, it's
you
truly take care of the art, right? They take time in the art. They take you on a journey. They don't conform to what the industry says, what anyone else is doing.
Yeah.
They just figure out who they are, what they want to do. And they might drop an edit or two. That's fine. You can do that. I understand, like, sometimes you got to play the game, right? As I said earlier, edits is a fast track to success a lot of the time. So, if you do it, you got to play the game. But still, you got to find what makes you, right? So for me, it's at the end of the day, if you're into the edits, if you're not into the edits, to me, the artists that get the most love from the people that are really purists are the ones that mostly make original tracks. That's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
You know what I
It's
think is
like
a good
it's
example of this? Kiko Franco's remix of Last Night. There's, for me, it
Yeah.
comes down to the amount of artistry in the studio at that moment when the track was being produced. Milkshake is another example. It's undeniably an incredible piece of production. Yeah, Kiko Franco's remix of Last Night has got moments in it where the production takes center stage. It doesn't matter. You could play the instrumental version without the vocal over the top, and it would still blow people away. And I feel like that's the same with Milkshake. There's another whole handful of tracks that I can think of that are remixes where the production is really FKA Mash's remix of My Love, was it called? Show My Love by itself is an incredible. Yes, Yebba's Heartbreak.
Yebba's Heartbreak. Speaking of Drega, man, that Billie Eilish remix as well. I mean, I'm here for that one, you know, because it's like you guys said, it's like a real musician's approach to the track versus like, oh, I just want to be big and I want to be a touring DJ and I want to party and I want to do this, and you know what I mean? It's like,
Manu, why are you hiding, bro?
Bro, that remix.
Dude,
do you know how crazy that remix is?
Yeah, I watched your YouTube video like a couple times because I was like, I just want to hear it, bro.
I've not heard it. What track is it? What track is it?
Billie Eilish, Khalid, Lovely, Drega remix.
Oh my
no way!
What a track!
The first time I heard this track, Eno played it at the show in London, maybe like a year ago. When did they play? In Cairo.
Yeah. I remember. I was there. Yeah.
So he played this track, and I was just holding my head like, bro. You know what Eno does with the knobs? He's always breaking some knob, breaking something. My guy was breaking every knob, right? So yeah. Literally the next day, I'm like, what track was this? Because I sent him a video. And he's like, oh, that's Drega. But obviously I can't send it. I reached out to Drega. Drega's like, nah, man, nah. Because I think someone leaked his version of Yebba's Heartbreak before. So he was a bit...
They did, yeah. I remember that.
Iffy about sharing tracks. So I'm like, all right, fine. So I waited months. And then I was like, bro, I showed him some of my TikToks. I was like, I can get you some views, man. Just send me the track, And he was like, yeah, we'll see. And then... yeah, maybe like a month ago, he reached out about something else. I was like, yeah, I like it. I could do a video. And I was like, oh, what about this one? And he's like, all right, fine. And that video blew up on TikTok, like 1 million views now. It's on 1 million views.
So what's the difference?
That track, really? Wow.
Yeah, so, my reaction of Eno and the Capo at Kanye playing that track.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on like 920,000 views on TikTok now. It's like stupid.
So is there a difference between that as a commercial edit compared to some of the other commercial edits we might be discussing? The difference is the incredible amount of artistry behind it, right? That's what it boils down to, rather than it just being what I would call the kind of template, the kind of music template.
Yeah.
Boom,
well, I think
vocal.
Do you know what it is? I think what people do usually is they go on vocal remover and they just use that original audio and put it over a beat. But what Drega has done, mate, the way he's just twisted and turned this vocal, used it here, dropped it here, chopped it here, put it there, the production is just out of this world. It's like proper sampling rather than just slapping a vocal on top of whatever you've It's so creative. I'll send it to you. I mean,
guys, I don't want to put us on a pedestal or anything, but I feel like between the three of us, we've just figured out what the issue is, I guess, with commercial edits, and it comes down to how much artistry goes into the track itself. That's what it is. Like, good music is good music regardless, but effort makes a difference.
every commercial edit now sounds like Milkshake. They all have that high pitch arp. They all have the same elements. So I think that's the issue because they all sound
the same clap.
Yeah, the same kind of synths, night free type of synths.
Yeah,
and it's like, all right, we get it. But
exactly, and you see, it was Alex Wan's thing, and like that was and I think will still continue to be his thing, but it's his thing, and like I'm fine with it being. I'm fine with it being his thing, but it's not everyone's thing. So just allow the guy and like find your own.
Originality is key. Guys, if you're budding producers and you're listening to this is the most important thing you will hear this year. Originality is key. Please be original, please. Can we just what about Rob, who would we say are some incredible original artists then? Original artists who make original music. Off the top of your head, I'm thinking Laulu.
Life as we know it.
Yeah. Anything by Laulu. And I know he did some remixes as well, but they were tastefully done. Very tastefully done. There Is Still Pain Left is a remix, but it's a beautiful, beautiful production. I've got to say, Kind of Music as well, man. They make original music a lot of the time.
They do.
So
they do.
Shout out to all of
is
the
another one.
Crew. Yep. Absolutely.
Kind of going to be number one. Like, if you look at your Beatport history, who have you bought the most tracks from? It's got to be Kinda. For me, it's either Kinda or Atjazz.
Yeah.
Oh, Atjazz is a G as well. Shout out Atjazz, bro.
Or FK Mash, one of those three.
FK Mash will be up there for me. And also on the topic of Mash as well. Mash makes original tracks.
Mash.
We didn't mention Mash enough last time, but Mash is a wizard. Very, very, very interesting to see what Mash has got this year.
I'm very excited for the kid. I mean, he just did his show in Switzerland, and I think it's just the beginning for him. I think he's slowly getting out there, and he's going to be touring like by end of year, hopefully. I hope for the guy.
He's a G.
I have a question for you guys. I'm going to throw you a little bit of a curveball, but since we're so deep in on the topic of commercial edits, I want to ask you guys, who are your favorite vocalists in our scene?
Ooh. Manny, do you want to go? Because I've got names ready.
Lyric Shoxon for me is number one.
Okay. Good choice.
Number one. That's a good shout, to be fair.
Lyric is different.
Wow, there's too many. There's so many. I think the go-tos would be like Tabia, Awen. I think someone who's underrated and but does a lot in our scene is Coco. Who re-vocaled 7 Seconds. Michi. Oh, Michi, man. Beautiful
Michi's
voice.
Good.
Tina Ardor.
Yeah, man. But
Bobby Fallon as well for me, man. Like Bobby Fallon is a songwriter. Like, and I mean that in the sense of she writes these stories. She's a storyteller with her music, And that for me, like, and I'm not just saying this because I've met the girl, like really, really incredible. I'm a big fan of Bobby Fallon. She's a great singer and a great songwriter. Lizwy as a vocalist. Powerful. You want a powerhouse in your track? Lizwy. Who else can we speak about?
Lizwy's style is also so unique, man. It's just like it's only her who does it, and she does it perfectly. It's like Ida Z's. Like Ida Z's and Lizwy for me is like nobody can do it like them. Nobody tries. You know what I mean? I love those guys, man. Kali Mija as well is a good one.
Oh yeah, of course. Shout out to Kali, man.
Yeah. Tough. And look, just here, like guys, there's enough original vocalists out there for everybody who's producing to contact one of them. I don't know, save up your money. I know not everybody's like rolling in it, but
Natasha MD,
Yolanda Faris,
Yolanda Faris,
Sky Wonder, who did like. But then, do you know what I think it is as well? I think the reason why it's so important for us to be doing what we're doing, not only as No Guest List, but individually as well, is because these are the names that people need to know. I was talking in a group chat a little while ago, and someone asked who their favorite Afro House artists were, and some of the names that got mentioned were Kayenda Soul, Mash, someone else, and a lot of the kids in this group were like, I don't know who these people are. How can you say you like Afro House and you don't know Kayenda Soul? That's wild to me. So I think
name and shame, bro. Name and shame. Name and shame. Who are these people?
No, I'm not naming it.
Yeah,
I'm not. Do you know what? It was a private. It was a private group chat.
Let me pull up.
It was a private group chat. I'm not trying to hot anyone up, but I think the important thing is education. Like you said, is knowing who these people are to go to in the first place. Because if you don't know, as a producer, as a young kid who's making music, if you don't have access, whether that's financially or to even know the names, what are you going to do? So I guess it's our job as commentators of this scene to make sure that people know who these names are. So who knows? Maybe we'll do like a best vocalist post or something.
Actually, yeah, I've been thinking about that for a while, and it's like how to best approach it. And the other thing is like, it's not easy to get, at least for my type of content, good videos from all these really talented people. I mean, there's not that many who are out there performing, right? I saw Emmanuel Jal is now out on the road, played at Istar like a week or two ago. Shout out Emmanuel Jal, man. Awen does it, but I think we're gonna see an upward trend in a lot of these vocalists who are gonna be forced. They will. I think they're gonna be forced to become like hybrid set DJs just to be able to sing, because they won't be able to do it anywhere else.
Have you seen Tina Ardor do this? Sing and DJ at the same time. Wow.
Yeah.
And I mean, look,
she's unbelievable.
Zex does it as well, I guess. Zex Bantuini does it as well. There's a name that we are all forgetting who is a legend, Toshi. Because if you ever give me a vocal like Booyah.
Yeah.
Wow. And another one, Msaki. Wish You Were Here.
Msaki, I say.
So many. I think we should do this. Like, I reckon between the three of us, we can put together a good enough post of like top vocalists and do a little tribute.
But also, I mean, there's a lot of talented people that are, more accessible, I guess, financially. Because I've had a bunch of producers reach out to me like, yo, I need a vocalist. And, be like, oh, these guys are all too expensive. Anybody who's a little more low key. And I've got names, man. I've got names in the bank ready for you. So just hit me up. Hit me up anytime.
Hit us up, man. Hit us up. We got him.
All right. What about upcoming releases, guys? I know we're getting towards the end of the hour, but something we spoke about previously was upcoming releases for 2024. Are there any secrets that you guys have got?
Upcoming releases. No, I just want music from Eno because I love Eno's music.
Bro, I was just about to say, like that track, This Thing Is Broken, that's the one I'm waiting for. You guys know that one?
This Thing Is Broken.
It's called This Thing Is Broken. I don't have the track, but I'll send you guys
that's what I'm talking about.
When did you hear it? Was this before or after he posted on his story saying, I don't need to hear any more edits this year? Or something along those lines. He put a post up saying, the last thing we need is edits. So was he saying that this thing is broken as in like this scene is broken?
Yeah, he said something crazy. He was like, go make edit about blah, 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 blah. Yeah, he said something.
This Thing Is Broken.
This Thing Is Broken, that's the title.
That's the title of the track.
I like crazy people like this that choose title that make no sense. If you're listening, these are the titles that we like. Trust me. Pick a title like that and you're halfway there. I'm telling you. That's all you need to do. Man. Like, I can't wait for that one. Okay, This Thing Is Broken.
I can't wait for? Rumor has it, Cairo and Mudra are working on a project together called Anguino. Have you heard about this?
I have not. That's big news
Yo,
because I think
big
those guys
news.
have a synergy, man.
Go on. If you go on Mudro's page,
let me check my hard drive. Let me see some.
It's a beautiful track, man. There was a video of Mudro dropping it in a secret room in Dubai, and it's I don't think he's secretive about it. Like, he put it up, posted it. This is the name of the track. Don't know when it's out yet, but I'm ready, man. I'm ready for that record.
Yeah, they got some tracks, man. I mean, I know the Capo's got. Obviously, the Capo always has something, but he's got some tracks.
Has he got a remix of 7 Seconds as well that he's playing?
Yeah, he's got that. Obviously, Each and Every Day remix. He sent me 2 Deep House tracks under his Aquatone alias, which are fire.
No way.
Yeah. He sent me some Deep House ones. Who else? I'm trying to think.
Maj and Vision, Amana.
Oh yeah, Amana.
Have you guys heard this? Yeah.
That is a track.
We need a release date on that. Surely that's near. That must be soon as well, because I feel like he's doing. It's like he's doing promo for it already. You know.
He's been well, man. Impressive what he's doing.
Maj is a guy. Oh, and another one. This one is like, we just spoke about this. And Me's remix of Ilanga by Mash.
Oh man, I hope that sees the light of day. I don't know. Last I heard, he wasn't sure. Yeah, that's a beautiful remix.
What does that sound like?
I think he has to. Oh, it's beautiful, man. It sounds. This is the thing. Yeah. It sounds like Ilanga with And Me on it.
Yeah, it's like a bit softer around the edges. You know, it's like.
What? Does it have any techie in there? Like any groove or like? Yeah.
I've only seen videos.
Like, it's a sunrise track. Do you know what I mean? It's very like smooth and, you know, that kind of like vibe. It's like for the sunrise. You know,
the original of Ilanga was a beautiful record, man. I don't think so. I don't think the remix is darker. Ilanga was a beautiful record. I remember playing that on radio, and the owner of the radio station messaged me and was like, "This is a banger. What is this track?" It's what I love about Mash is that he doesn't put himself into a structural cage, if that makes sense. Like he's not. He doesn't say this is how the track must go. It's his own structure, his own sound. Is he singing in that? His own way of doing things.
He's singing in that.
I'm not sure. You know. Let me check. I'm going to check quickly.
It might be nice. I think singing.
Maybe it is. It doesn't say. It doesn't say. Mash. Let us know. Who did the vocal?
I think it's him then.
If it's Mash on the vocal. Now Mash sings.
Yeah. You didn't know that? Yeah. He sings. I actually
didn't know that.
He's in a lot of his tracks. Yeah. So it's him.
Hey, yo, that's now for me like. It's done, bro.
Artistry at its finest. Another vocalist to mention as well. But yeah, the original was incredible, man, and Me's twisted it up and made it into from what I've heard, seen in videos. Anyway, I've not had the pleasure of hearing it live, but
I heard it live, and it was at that time of the morning, like sunrise just coming up. It's a beautiful, beautiful like fit for that kind of thing. You know, you're not going to hear it in a dark club. It's not that kind of track. But in a way, that's good. Yeah. Anyway, guys, just wanted to say thank you so much to everyone that tuned in the last time. If you missed the last episode, it's out now on Apple Music, Spotify, and YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, drop us a follow, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Peace.